The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Hey, welcome to Moms for Justice. How's everybody doing?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. In case anybody doesn't know, I'm Carolyn. This is Jocelyn. This is our
Hello.
third episode.
Third official episode. So listen, if you like us, don't forget to like the button and subscribe.
Yeah. Don't forget.
Love the special effects.
Yes.
Compliments from Johnny.
Yes, compliments from Johnny. So how are you today? I haven't talked to you in a while. We missed Monday.
Well, this because Ava had a birthday party.
That's right. She had her birthday party.
Yeah.
And it was really a lot of fun, and I couldn't be on because of that, but I definitely missed you guys.
It's good to have family time. I had my birthday this weekend, so I went out to dinner on Friday with friends. I had a really good time.
Again.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, you went to
That's
the
really
beach,
about it.
right?
I'll always go to the beach on my birthday. It's a must.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful.
It's like
It
a
was
new
really
tradition
nice.
of yours.
Yes. I mean, listen, it's just the beach, right? So at least it's not crazy.
I got hormone therapy yesterday.
What does that mean?
Like pellets, like the actual BHRT hormone therapy for menopause.
No. Like
Well,
shots?
Ladies. Yeah, no, I'm telling you. No, it's not a shot. They actually created like a hole in my upper hip and put the pellet in. Yeah, am I supposed
And the
to call
pellet
it?
is what, like slow releasing?
Yeah, can you see that if you need to edit? Do you see that right there?
Oh, hey, that's my husband.
Yeah, do you
Hey,
see
Tony.
anything above that by any chance?
No.
Okay,
Just
good.
okay.
All right. And you still don't see anything, right? I do,
I
unfortunately.
don't see anything now.
Okay.
No.
Well, at least
So
you
it-
can't see it.
So is this pellet like slow absorbing or something? Does
Yeah,
it
so
last a month?
It's time released. It lasts 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And I have to go back in 3 months and get another one.
So it's almost like an implant.
Pretty much. It goes down about an inch. I think there's a lot of women that try it and they say it's great. I have a couple girlfriends that have tried it and they really, really love it. So
Okay.
it's made a huge difference in like energy and fatigue and joint pain and things like that. So
Oh, wow. And you
yeah.
have all that?
What?
You have all those symptoms?
Oh yeah. It's horrible.
Oh, wow.
Horrible. Getting
Okay.
old really stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I take an implant if you can make me lose weight.
Well, it'll
Such a struggle.
it helps you with weight loss, not because it'll make you lose weight, but it gives you the energy to work out and to do more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we got today?
Okay, so I want to go over some of the news that's going. Well, first of all, before I go over the news that's like, I'm going to be using Court TV because they always put like, a nice running tally of the latest news and everything, but 3 days old news is not up there right now. And I just want to say, Scott Peterson and Lacey
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
right? Okay, so he's back in the
Yes.
news because he's being represented by LA Innocence Project.
Okay.
And he's looking to get a new trial. Apparently they have this new evidence. I don't have crazy
So-
details, but I know enough.
I think it's like a DNA evidence. Like they found.
Yes, in the back of a van, like an old van that was seen in the area across the street from Lacey and Scott's house. There was a burglary or something that was across the street, and apparently that van was seen in the area. And the theory is that Lacey Peterson was maybe kidnapped and thrown in the back of that van, and they found all sorts of stuff back there that they think could possibly have DNA on it. So he's in the news right now for that, and that case is like That's a riveting case. Like, I think we should cover
excellent.
that, and we should totally
Yes.
maybe do an episode on that next week in between all this, since we're like catching up on everything with the Wendi Adelson and Dan Markel case, because we still have a while yet for the September trial of Donna Adelson. So I figured we
Right.
could like do, a few things like that.
Weave it in.
Yeah, weave
That's
it
good.
in
Yeah.
so that we're not only just talking about one case,
Yeah, I remember that whole Peterson case because they're around our age, I believe, or maybe a couple years
Yeah.
older. But I definitely, because I was having kids around the same time, I believe. What year was it? Do you remember?
You know what? I think it was like I think it was like 2000 or 2001. I was going to say 99 originally, but let me tell you something. I'm sure I'm in the minority on this one, but I do think he probably did it. I think there's a lot of like obvious things that he did that are just like really hard to explain away, but I don't think he had a fair trial.
Okay, I didn't follow the trial. I just kind of followed whatever was on the news. I didn't actually, I didn't really, obviously, there wasn't really, there was an internet, but it wasn't the same as it is today. So I just kind of heard bits and pieces like off the radio or whatnot. So I didn't really actually follow it, but I felt like he was guilty from whatever they told me from the news.
Yeah, well, for you to have an affair with another woman and then tell that woman while you're having an affair with her before your wife dies that my wife is gone and not coming back. Like, he had announced that she was gone before she was gone. And that was, and then all the lies that like he called on New Year's Eve said he was in Paris, and there was all these, and he was supposed to be he was at the vigil, and he's calling literally from Laci Peterson's vigil on the phone, calling his mistress saying, hey, I'm in Paris and the lights and the people are amazing on New Year's Eve and all this. And what a liar. What a liar.
Wow. First of all, the vigil was on New Year's Eve?
The vigil was on New Year's Eve, yes. Because he was on the phone with her pretending he was in Paris.
Well, did the woman even know that she existed?
Did Amber know that Laci existed?
Yeah.
At the time, he had said, I'm getting a divorce or I'm separated from my wife. And so, she knew that he had a wife, but he had said that they were like on the outs. So she just figured it was
That's
safe.
Weird.
Right. I felt bad for Amber Fry. I really did. I think she got the short end of the stick on that one. But we need to cover that case. It's an oldie, but it is a goodie, and it's one I go back to. Other ones like that are like Casey Anthony.
Oh, that's a good one.
There's a lot of good ones. There's also a case nobody knows about called, her name is Sabrina Lamone, and that is a really interesting case. It's like a love triangle case. It's very juicy, full of gossip.
Okay. I don't know anything, but that doesn't even ring a bell, that name.
No, but it's a really good case. So anyway, we're going to go courtesy of Court TV. Let's check out what's going on in the news today. So family of pregnant teen allegedly killed by baby's father. He speaks out. So check it out.
Nice.
Mia Campos. Family reveals information about the father of her baby, Jesus Monroy. Let me open it up. Okay. So, family of pregnant teen who was killed near their home has shared information about the tragic details of their daughter's life and the hours leading up to her death. I might skip over some stuff here, but 16-year-old Mia Campos was 7.5 months pregnant when the father of her unborn son, Sebastian, lured her near the entrance of her neighborhood and then killed her by the means of asphyxiation before leaving her body in the woods. Doorbell camera showed Mia leaving her house at 10:31. 20-year-old Jesus Monroy picked her up to go down the street to the Quick Trip gas station, something not out of the ordinary, according to her brother. Oh, gosh, these people.
So basically, they know for sure that it's him? Or is it, or that's the...
Down here, Mia didn't return home or answer her phone. Family uses an app to track her location, which showed her activity stopped nearby. App led them to a patch of woods, less than a mile, yada, yada. When the medical examiner arrived, Mia's brother, who had been sitting on the side of the road next to Monroy, described him as acting odd. So, no, this is like the beginning. This is definitely like the beginning of something. But it's in the news, and it's interesting. definitely something to check out. Now, this one I think is a real hot case right now. It just started, the Black Swan murder trial. Opening statements have already happened, and we can watch those. Or Jocelyn, I know you like to listen to stuff while you're at work. But Ashley Benefield, former ballerina, which is why she's called the Swan.
Black Swan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was a good movie, by the way.
That's actually a really good title for her. Yeah. Kudos for the newscaster to call her that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Standing trial for fatal shooting of her husband during a child custody battle. She claims self-defense, while prosecutors argue it was premeditated. Let's see.
Interesting. Okay, so when did that happen?
That just...
Did it say?
7/23/24. That's now. So yeah, that's when the trial started. Yeah. But yeah, that's all they're giving us on that. But we definitely need to keep an eye on that one. Okay, and then this one, I couldn't help but laugh at it a little bit. Let me go down here a little bit. I'll skip that. Oh, what's it? Oh gosh. Okay, so this is a Tennessee. I thought it was Tennessee. I thought I saw it say Tennessee the other day. What the heck?
Oh, hey, I'll just do a shout out to Sam and Brian. They're on listening to us.
Okay, and I just got some crazy message from somebody, and I think I know who it is. Did you see that or no? Only I could see it.
No, I didn't see it.
I got a text. Maybe my texts are coming in on the screen. Let me see. Yep, it's who I think it is. Okay, you can't comment because you're not in YouTube. All right, so somebody's saying they can't comment. They're trying to comment, and they can't. Now, I don't know if my mom has an account or not, but I think she can comment too, because I saw that she could. Unless you just quickly, it's free. You just go to YouTube, create your account. It takes 2 seconds, then hop back on, and you will be able to comment on everything we're saying. Okay? All right. Man released on bond allegedly murders girlfriend. Nashville 6-panel judge has scheduled an evidentiary hearing after a man allegedly murdered his girlfriend while out on bond. Bricken Rivers, 23, is accused of murdering Lauren Johansson on July 3rd in Mississippi, just days before Johansson's death. Rivers was released on bond in Nashville, where he had been held after an alleged attack on Johansson. What happened in Nashville? Rivers and Johansson took a vacation to Nashville. A lot of crimes happening here, let me tell you. Like, have you heard about the guy that drowned in the river a couple weeks ago?
No, you told me about it.
Oh, gosh, it was awful. Poor guy. That's a whole other story. But a lot of crime is happening here. A lot of people are ending up in the Cumberland River. It's horrendous. Yeah.
Is there swimming allowed?
No, and you wouldn't want to be, like, literally, you got the football stadium there, and then on the other side, can you see this comment? Mom, yes, I can see you. Addie! Addie's one of my daughter's best friends. She's awesome.
Aww.
Oh, no.
And hey, Anna.
It's not Addie. It's Misha. Hi, Misha. She's on Addie's account.
Hi, Misha.
Yeah, Misha's on. Okay, so another crime, Misha, in Nashville. Crazy. Anyway, she recorded part of the attack on her phone. Audio reviewed by Scripps News Nashville reveals that Rivers accusing her of having sex with another man in the 11-minute recording. And I guess Rivers seemingly taunted Johansson with graphic language while the recording depicted her gasps and cries. Okay, that's really sad.
Okay, so this happened in Nashville.
Yeah, it happened in Nashville. They're from Mississippi, but it happened in Nashville. Oh. She goes, it's me now. There she is. And now she's appearing all tiny. Before my comments were appearing. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Misha was just at the house the other day. We had a great time. We were hanging out.
Oh, she was there for the party?
Yeah, she was at the party. We were hanging out.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Totally fun. I love seeing her. She's you gotta, like, you've never met her.
I met Misha. I think I met her once.
You did? When?
I'm pretty sure. When I was there.
She's short, blonde hair, southern, kind of like.
Misha, do you remember me? Do
you remember Jocelyn?
I mean, her name is so, maybe because her name is so familiar. I don't know.
I talk about her a lot, so maybe that's why. Bonnie met her. I know Bonnie.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then maybe one more. I saw one down here that cracked me up a little bit. Okay. I shouldn't be laughing at any crime, but sometimes there's humor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at her face. Look at her eyes. Like, she's like, I don't know. Okay, this happened in Idaho. Mother and daughter are facing charges after a man was fatally shot at an Idaho campground. Hold on. Keep me tiny. She goes,
Well,
keep me tiny. Hold on, I'm just answering Misha. Okay, back to business, ladies. All right. Sorry, Ron. Okay. All right. So this is interesting.
So what did they do?
Mother and daughter facing charges after a man was fatally shot at an Idaho campground. Court documents obtained by Scripps allege 35-year-old Melissa Klumpet and 59-year-old Rosalie Morris admitted to plotting the murder of 37-year-old Travis Klumpet. Travis was found dead in Martin's Landing campground on July 12th. He had been fatally shot in the chest. Melissa and Travis were married in 2010, have 2 children, but the documents say the two were estranged and had previously divorced in 2018 and remarried in 2020. Melissa told investigators she was forced to leave their house in Parma in April due to Travis being physically abusive to their children. Not funny. Melissa told investigation that she planned to meet with Travis on July 12th to inform him that she wanted a second divorce. These people.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of murders going on with a spouse. There's a lot of spousal.
Here's the other thing, you know.
You had that woman Karen who ran over her husband.
Yeah, Karen.
Right? Oh, I mean, not our boyfriend, whatever. And a lot of these murders have to deal with the spouse partner. I mean, it's crazy.
People should not. There's so many people that shouldn't be getting married. They get married after like dating for a couple of weeks, and then I just don't like when there's women and men out there that are like, I'm gonna get married, and then in the back of their mind before they even walk down the aisle, they're like, well, I can always get a divorce if it doesn't work out. Vows are sacred, man. You don't just say, well, I can just bow out if I want to.
I think people have the intentions of being married and staying married. I mean, I think it's very hard to stay married. And a lot of times people just change too over the years, you know, their outlook changes or the person changes. So it's, you know, and it's not always the husband. But I don't know if Ron meant it's not always the husband that gets murdered or.
I know he's being sarcastic. He's saying it's always the husband.
You think it's that way?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But let me tell you something. There are some evil women out there, Ron. There are women out there that are connivers and they're cheaters and they play their men like a fiddle. So I am not going to side with women here on everything because there are some really nasty, mischievous women out there. But you're right. It's married. I just don't like how people are just we're getting married after only meeting for couple days. That's happening a lot more now. Like literally they're meeting and they run to Vegas or they have this big wedding in like 2 months or even 6 months you should really date somebody for a long time before you get married. That's what I think. Okay. Back to business, ladies, again. Oh, okay. So anyway, do you guys remember what we've been talking about? We're doing a series on Dan Markel, and I just want to go through a timeline, but before I do that, I had a great idea. Just, hopefully people are familiar with the case. If you're not, that stinks, but I do have a little thing I can play you to it's like 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long, maybe tops, and it can give you a recap. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ready yet. I'm getting there. Give me a second.
Wait, a recap on basically of their case? Of their case.
A little cute little, recap of the case. I have it here. Give me a second to get it. And then,
okay. Because we're going to talk about Jeff today, which is Wendy's ex-boyfriend or boyfriend at the time, ex-boyfriend at the time, but boyfriend leading up to said murder.
True, but for our listeners that don't know the story, there's a little 3-minute little recap so they can kind of get an idea of at least what the case is about, okay? So I'm just going to play this right here. Here you go.
It's the story of a brazen shooting which would stump a team of law enforcement agencies. A saga that Dateline has been covering for 5 years.
It started as a true whodunit.
A beloved and accomplished law professor at Florida State University drove up the driveway into his garage. A neighbor heard shots and called 911. Dan Markel had taken 2 bullets to the head, his car window smashed, his eyeglasses broken.
It's as cold-blooded a killing as you can get.
The police have called this a murder for hire, and these guys didn't hire themselves.
Who was the paymaster with the money, the malice, and the desire to see Dan Markel dead? We have the latest developments in the case, with newly revealed evidence, new details, and bombshell testimony.
There you go. See, it just gives you a little idea what we're talking about here. Let me switch on back to us. So, yeah, Dan was murdered. Dan was murdered.
The subject found his mom.
I personally think his wife's involved, but definitely his family is involved. And we've been discussing that all along. But there has been testimony in 3 trials, and there has been 2 hitmen that have been tried and convicted. And there is also a female that is the girlfriend of one of the hitmen. She has been convicted. And then the brother-in-law of the deceased has been convicted, Charlie Adelson, which is the ex-wife's brother. Her name is Wendi. And I just wanted to go through a couple things. I have a timeline here and then we'll start watching a little bit of Jeff. But I have to find my video here. Just give me a second. What's that?
I also wanted to say that Donna Adelson will be tried this October, this fall.
Right.
So they're saying that she is also part of it.
Yeah.
So her son Charles,
Mm-hmm.
so her son Charles, which is Wendy's brother, has already been found guilty as plotting his murder.
Right.
He was the guy that hired the hitmen that already got that are already in jail now.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So,
all right. So before I play this, at the beginning of the timeline, we have in September 2012, Wendi and Dan are separated. July 31st, 2013, the divorce is finalized. September 2013, Wendi goes ahead and starts dating a guy named Jeff Lacasse. Okay, so I'm going to play a little bit of Jeff Lacasse's testimony here. Just give me a second. We're going to move it on over.
What?
There you go, guys. All right, take a listen and let me unmute
her parents
that.
And brother were down there.
How would you characterize her relationship with her parents and brother?
Extremely close.
Did Wendi Adelson ever make a joke in your presence about her TV?
Yes, ma'am, she did. In October of 2013, the first time I had went to her house on Aqua Ridge, and we were going to watch a movie, she made a joke, which she characterized as her brother's joke, but she was the one telling it, that, her brother had looked into hiring a hitman, but a TV was cheaper. And I heard her repeat that joke at a later occasion.
All right, so
Okay, did you guys hear that? So the TV, it was a big running joke by Charlie, and he's testifying here that he was told by Charlie and her that he gave her the TV as a present because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman for her ex-husband, right? So
right.
What do you guys think of that? Like Lynn, tell me what you think of that.
Yeah, I definitely think, to me, that was actually a nugget, should we say, because I felt like, it's one thing to say it one time, but he kept on saying it over and over again to repeated amount of people. And I think it was a way for him to brag, should I say, that this is exactly what he did. He hired somebody to, and obviously he didn't get convicted until almost 10 years later. So he probably felt like he was in the clear, that this whole time nobody's going to find out. So I think he just kept on repeating the lame joke as a way to brag about it.
Okay. February 2014, some motions are filed between Dan, the deceased, and Wendi after their divorce. Nasty stuff going back and forth. I don't want your mother to see the kids unsupervised, and she made a motion where she wanted to relocate back down to Miami, which was denied. On March 11th.
By the way, that whole motion about him saying that I don't want the kids in your mother's presence, meaning he doesn't want his kids in the grandmother's presence, which is Wendy's mom. That wasn't filed until that was filed, I think, in February or March, because there was no court date for it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, so that wasn't back in October. That was early spring.
Oh, I don't know. You're talking about the actual motions? Well, the motions are over a period of time. I just put down that they began in February 2014. That's when the motions began. But they do span.
Oh, I thought you said dates. October. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, February 2014. Okay, so then moving to March 11th, and I checked all these dates out just so everybody knows. March 11th, 2014, Wendi brings her new boyfriend, Jeff, who you just saw, down to a restaurant called the Yardberg in Miami to visit and meet her brother for the first time, her brother, Charlie.
Oh, which, by the way, real quick, this has nothing to do with this, but I just wanted to say, I believe when I went to Miami with the girls for Judy's birthday, we were there at Yard Bar in Miami.
No.
I would have to confirm. I would have to go back through my pictures, but I'm pretty sure we were there.
And it has like an outside seating area, and it's like black and white. It's like black and white. Like the
building more black and glass. Like there's like a glass front, a really big glass front. I don't know. Whatever. I just wanted to say.
I've seen pictures. It's like a white building with like a lot of black trim, and it's like at a corner. Oh, no. And it's just. I heard it's really good restaurant actually.
I'm gonna have to look because I remember we were there.
So they're at the Yardbird. Excuse me. They're at the Yardbird, and Jeff meets Charlie for the first time, and Charlie's like, talking about how he knows people from the wrong side of the tracks and all that other stuff. And they go back, and they're in this hot tub hanging out with drinks, and Charlie starts telling Jeff how he goes outside of the country to be with young girls, underage girls. Like, what a sleazeball.
Did he testify to that? I think that was under right.
It's in his interrogation. It's in his interrogation, which I have, by the way. Okay, March 26th is the Sunshine motion, and that is the motion where he finally says, "I do not want Wendy's mother to have any access to my kids anymore because she said your father is stupid and he's trying to take my sunshines away." Right? Mm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then on June 4th, okay, the hitmen, this is now 2014, the hitmen make their first attempt. They tried to kill Dan twice. The first time, it's on June 4th. They make their first attempt. They go down there, and for whatever reason, and they never really tell us why, but it never came to fruition for whatever reason.
Wendi Adelson, real quick, by the way, too, and his testimony, Jeff's testimony, he says that on June 4th, he goes to a coffee shop with with Wendi, right, and they end up hanging out later that night. So she had him with him the whole time.
Yeah, I got it all here. I got it all decked out.
I'm gonna go back to that, but I just wanted to give you a heads up.
Okay. All right. So the hitmen make their first attempt on the 4th. That day, Wendi Adelson also cancels a trip to meet Jeffrey Lacasse's parents. Okay. So let me play this one section for you guys. Listen to this. This is Jeff explaining what happened there.
I want to talk about the incident that occurred at the coffee shop on June 4th of 2014. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened at the coffee shop? Was that here in Tallahassee?
That was at Red Eye Coffee. I had met Wendi for a cup of coffee. I had an appointment in the same building later, so we just met up. And a couple of things happened on that day, but at the coffee shop, Wendi canceled a trip that we had planned for her to come meet my parents in California, which was scheduled for July 11th to 17th. And she said she canceled that trip because she was concerned we wouldn't get back on the 8th in time to pick up the kids on the 18th, which didn't make a whole lot of sense. But we then discussed rescheduling the trip. It wasn't anything I objected to strongly or anything like that.
I'm just pausing for 1 second to let you guys know Dan was murdered on the 18th. And you need to know that she canceled this trip because she said she had to be back to get her kids on the 18th. Okay?
But it was weird.
The plan originally was for you to return to Tallahassee on the 17th?
Yes.
and then for her to take custody of her kids from Dan Markel on the 18th?
Yes.
And she canceled the trip because why?
Because our flight might get delayed in the middle of summer and we would get stranded and not be able to be there to pick up the kids, and she had to pick up the kids on the 18th.
Okay. Did you see her later that night?
Yes, I went to her house and hung out with her and her children that night.
All right. And was there anything unusual about her behavior on the night of June 4th, 2014?
Definitely. She was a nervous wreck. And I actually traveled to the store to buy her, I believe, some Pepto-Bismol because she was such a nervous wreck. She was having stomach problems. So she wasn't food poisoned. She didn't have the flu. She wasn't sick. She was just so nervous that she was having stomach problems.
Okay, so you guys heard that, right? I think that's pretty compelling.
You have to remember the kids at the time were 3 and 4. And this was what day was that? It was June 4th. So it's her responsibility to pick the kids. There's absolutely nothing wrong with her and the way that they've been arguing back and forth, and it's her responsibility. It's her day with her kids. I don't see a big deal on her saying, no, I don't want to jeopardize that. I have to make sure I'm back. And actually also in her testimony at the trial, she actually says that that she was supposed to talk to Dan that morning because they were going to talk about school, and she wanted to pick up the kids earlier that day.
Yeah.
Whatever occasion. But what I'm saying is it's
That's
not
baloney.
I mean, the fact is that you're a parent and you have to pick up these children. They're your responsibility. You think that he's been throwing shit at her all the time. God forbid she wasn't there to pick up her kids.
Who's
she would look
throwing crap at
irresponsible.
her? Who's throwing crap at her?
Her ex-husband is constantly what do you call it? Was what's that? What was he doing?
Who?
He was constantly complaining at the course, but what's that word I'm looking for?
Oh, I have no idea. But honestly, Jocelyn, I'm like, you can hear that he's when he's testifying as if this is unusual behavior for her. So you either find him credible.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
He's not. What's so on? What I'm saying is he's trying to play it off like it's, I don't know why she was behaving that way. She said she had to be home on the 18th. Yeah, it's her responsibility to pick up her 3 and 4-year-old kids, or actually 4 and 2-year-old kids. She's under a very stressful divorce. She has to make sure she's there to pick up her kids, and she cannot look like an irresponsible parent. I think he's making something out of nothing. I think she's being a responsible parent.
It doesn't make sense.
It does make sense. Let me tell you, if I said to you, let's go on this vacation, and you had to pick up your kids and you're going through this divorce, and I said, don't worry, we'll be back on the 17th, a day before, there's no way you would jeopardize that.
Fine, I understand that, but the guy was murdered on the 18th, so now you make no sense. Because he was murdered on the 18th, and it's just ironic. She's like, I have to be back on the 18th.
Yeah, she has to be back for her kids.
Dan lived there. He wasn't going. And by the way, he was going to New York on the 19th. So she had to make sure that this murder happened on the 18th, and she was back to get her kids on the 18th. But on the 18th, if he wasn't murdered and she knew nothing about it, she could have just said, well, Dan will be there to get them.
Why? She's going through a horrible, not necessarily divorce, but
because he has every right.
With his exploit.
He has every right. He has 50% right to see his children. What is he not allowed to go pick them up in a bind?
Well, she never remembered, and also it said another thing that we watched. She never really gave him any extra parenting time if it wasn't what you call. His weekend or his day, because they had 50%. So if she needed coverage, she always called her parents to come and get them or stay with them because if she flew out or whatnot, or she had somewhere to be. But the fact is that she did not want to give him any extra time. So yeah, when she says that she had to be there on 18th, she had to be there to pick up her kids because she wasn't going to give him any more extra days.
Yeah, you have very listen to me. You have very logical explanations for things, Lynn. But when you put everything together in all the little things, like the little nuggets, like I said, that make no sense, that together make it almost impossible for me to believe that she is completely innocent. Yeah, if you want to look at just, the tree went down. And that she thought a tree went down, and that's why she drove away. She drove to the crime scene, but you're sitting there defending her, saying, well, she probably did think it was a tree that went down. Or her kids are at daycare, so she probably thought that they would have called her anyway. And then you have an excuse for this one, too. But if you add it all together, Lynn...
It's not an excuse. It's just it's an actual... Look, again, I still think... I'm not talking about the whole tree thing right now, but I still think by her trying to be a responsible parent and making sure that she was there, because she's not going through a very easy transition with him. No, I don't think. I think he's making something out of nothing. I mean, what did he say that on the?
BS. Well, I have more to play of him, but I mean, I 100% disagree with you. I do. I'm sorry. Don't. What do you all think? Please tell us what you think. We want to hear what you have to think. What you have to say about it. Okay. So.
Oh, wait. Anna said it. Scheduled visitation. Exactly. They had scheduled visitation, and she never gave him anything extra.
I understand that. But she was on a trip. She was supposed to come back on the 17th. She had an extra day for her to say. They were supposed to come back from California on the 17th. And she's like, well, I got to make sure I'm back on the 18th. So now I'm just going to cancel? Meanwhile, her ex-husband gets murdered on the 18th.
Well, that so happened, but yeah,
I could see.
It's not like, oh, let's get in the car and we'll just drive if I miss my flight. It's a 5.5 hour flight to begin with.
But the kids were with Dan.
Right, but she never wanted to give Dan extra time, extra visitation.
That's tough. He's her.
Well, no, it's not.
Father.
But that's what. But she does. And he does get them. But she's not going to give him any more. She wasn't going to give him any more because she's going through some seriously terrible times with him. So she was being So if anything, she's really screwing herself, because she could have this nice vacation with him, but she's like, I'm not going to give him extra time.
So you're going to cut off an entire vacation because you want to make sure that your ex-husband doesn't get one extra minute with his kids.
Exactly. That's legit.
No,
Why
it
wouldn't
is not
she?
legit.
Yeah,
No.
she could. I didn't say it's right. What I'm saying is that's possible. That she's so adamant that he's not getting extra time. That he's not getting any extra time than he's getting. Then I could see herself totally berating this, just raining on this vacation, not going, just so that he doesn't get an extra day. Listen. There's parent divorces and separations are they're. I mean, look the things that he filed on her and the constant rebuttals that she had to file on him. It was, I mean, they even said that the judge was like, enough is enough. The things that they were filing. They're talking about two lawyers filing on each other over and over again. It was a really nasty separation.
Well, I think you're out of your mind. That's what I think. I love you, but you're out of your mind. Okay.
I don't think so.
So let's move it along, okay? So, on June 11th, Wendy's TV is broken. Okay? Jeff tries to replace it. She says no. We've already gotten into a huge fight over this. You felt that would be ridiculous, that she shouldn't have to accept it. But it was a cheap dorm room TV. It was a couple $100 and it had been broken for a while. And he goes, let me just go down to Best Buy and get you a new TV.
No, it wasn't been broken for a while.
It had been broken for 3 months.
No, it wasn't.
He just didn't notice it until the 11th.
No.
Yes.
Oh, so all of a sudden now he knows it's broken for 3 months? How does he know it's been broken for 3 months? Did she testify to that? Did she say it was broken for 3 months?
I'm telling you, it is in there. It's in one of the things. I'll find it for you for next time. I'll write it down for you right now, because there's no way I'm going to know where it is.
And by the way, he said that he that whole situation with the broken tea, when he realized it was broken, was between June 11th and June 18th. He doesn't remember which day it was.
That was the day that he was with her and they brought the red box movie back.
But he testified.
The TV had been broken. And she goes, oh, yeah, well, I've been meaning to get it fixed. And just so everybody knows, everybody needs to know this. If you didn't hear on the last episodes, the TV was a gift from Wendy's brother, Charlie. as a divorce present, and he told everybody it was cheaper to get her this TV than to hire a hitman. Okay?
Right. We just covered that.
Well, no, we didn't. I'm telling everybody this story. There's new people on, and I want to make sure they understand what's going on. Okay, so the TV's broken on June 11th. Jeff tried to replace it. She said, no, don't touch the TV. And I know why. Because she needs a repairman on the morning of the murder to be in her house as an alibi for her. That's why she didn't want the TV replaced. So she needed it to stay broken until the 18th. And everybody's going to see that. Okay?
Okay. As a recap, I don't think that way because I think she was on the verge. She was on the verge of breaking up with him, and she didn't want a gift from him because they broke up after that. That following Monday, before she actually not that much. Sorry, the Monday before she leaves for Florida is when she tells them, "I just need to think about a relationship." So that is literally like what June between June 11th and June 18th. But within 2 weeks, she tells him, "I need to step back and think about a relationship." So yeah, I wouldn't accept if I didn't want to be with the guy. And the reason why she said that was because she says that he was accusing her of cheating on him. So if I wouldn't want to be with a guy, if I didn't cheat on him, if I didn't cheat on him and he's accusing me and he doesn't believe me, then that definitely hurts your relationship. So that's why she said, I'm going to go away. I'm going to think about it and I'll get back to you. And so, no, I'm not accepting a free TV from a guy that I'm going to break up with.
Okay. Okay, June 15th, Wendy's in Miami on the beach with Charlie's girlfriend, Katie Magbanoa, one of the convicted killers in this case, okay? June 29th and 30th, the Wendi and Jeff go on a trip to Gainesville. It's a business trip of Jeff's, and while there, they get into a huge fight, and here he is talking about it. So I am going to switch on over here.
See? It was right after that fight.
Yeah, well, listen,
guys.
That
she was...
All right. Tell us about the way the beginning of the end of your relationship.
Can you give me a date?
My understanding is there was a big fight on June 29th.
Yeah. So we traveled to Gainesville together. I had a work trip in Gainesville, and Miss Adelson accompanied me. And the relationship had been it'd been a huge roller coaster of up and down and love bombing, and I perceived a lot of manipulation and lying. And on, I guess it was the night, June 28th, that Saturday, we had a relationship conflict. We had I don't know if argument's quite the right word, but I was kind of tired of being strung along, and it was just what it felt like. I couldn't figure out why I was being strung along, but that's what it felt like, and we sort of had it out.
All right, so when was the next time you saw her after the big fight?
Well, the next day we drove from Gainesville to Tallahassee. So I saw her then, and I dropped her off at her house. It was a very awkward, multiple-hour trip from Gainesville to Tallahassee.
All right, and did that feel like the end of the relationship at that time?
It wasn't great, but no, it didn't feel like the end. No, in fact, she said otherwise. I mean, I actually distinctly remember departing her house and her saying that this was not the end. But as I said, I felt like I was being strung along, where it was a constant roller coaster in a way that seemed purposeful and manipulative.
All right. So
she was a cheater, I think, personally. I think she, the reason why I think she was a cheater is I don't think she ever took Jeff seriously. I think Jeff was used and he was planted in her life, and she kept him around because she needed him as a scapegoat for this murder, because he has a similar car to the hitman. And she knew, and you'll find out in a few minutes, I'll, get up to that part. Yeah, so they have the fight in Gainesville. July 6th, Wendi texts Dan. This is a new one, and I found this out today. Wendi texts Dan on July 6th, asking if he will be in Tallahassee from July 14th through the 18th. He responded, "I will, and I'm leaving on the 19th to go to New York." Just so you know, that's a new piece of information I found out today. On July 11th, Donna calls a TV repair guy at the Geek Squad and arranges for the TV to be looked at by a repairman on July 18th. Okay? July 13th, there's dinner and a movie with Jeff and Wendi. They go on a date. They decided not to break up. Okay. At that moment, she's like, I want to maybe keep giving this a go. And then I'm going to play for you another clip where he talks about, I think it's when Charlie talks to him about getting a hitman last summer, because that's pretty telling also. Okay, 1811. 1 second. All right.
It's been a couple weeks since the big fight.
Yes.
And where did you see her?
I talked on the phone in the interim, and long story short, decided to keep going, to not break up, to continue to pursue the relationship. So we had a date. I picked her up at her house, and we went to the movies and dinner.
All right. And did you return back to her residence after your date?
I did. We did.
Was there anything unusual about her behavior that evening?
Listen here.
Well, she made a very strange statement to me at the house.
Tell us about that, please.
Yeah. So we were walking into the house, and we're having chit chat, and she says, "Can I tell something to you confidentially?" And I said, "Sure." And she tells me that last summer, when the relocation got denied, Charlie investigated multiple ways to fix this problem of Dan Markel, including hiring a hitman, and that it was going to cost about $15,000. And I'm unsure if that number's 15,000 or 50,000 because they sound similar, but she told me that the previous summer that Charlie had looked into having Danny killed by a hitman.
All right, so that would have been the summer of 2013.
Yes.
Okay, and when she told you this statement, you previously characterized the TV statement as a joke. Mm-hmm. Was this statement also in the characterization of a joke?
No, these are two discrete, completely different things. She had a joke she would make about a TV being cheaper than a hitman. I knew that joke. This was a separate statement. This was chilling. This wasn't funny. This made my stomach flip. I found it disturbing at the time. It's completely different.
And the statement was made 5 days before the murder of Dan Markel.
That's correct.
By a hitman.
That's right.
Okay.
5 days before. 5 days before. You are on a brink with this guy. You're constantly going back and forth with this guy, together, not together, whatever. And then you're going to tell him a statement like that? No. I think that's BS.
I think he comes off very honest and very credible, and probably somebody that she could talk to and confide in. I don't think
5 days before the murder, you're going to say this to a guy that you're wishy-washy with?
He was so whooped on her. She had him wrapped around her finger.
I agree with that. I'm sure.
Yeah, she didn't. No, I think my dog is. You hear him knocking at the door?
Yeah.
Ruger! Misha, you still on? She likes Ruger. Okay, well, I disagree. Now, here's another thing, is another thought. And I was talking to my mother-in-law about this. She was just here. She just left today.
Aww.
And I was telling her about the case.
And she's home already?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, she's home. She and I said that it's possible that she didn't know details, but knew something was going to happen and was just like, I don't want to know about it, kind of a thing. That is probably very likely, but it still makes her guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people would maybe agree with that at the very least. Her being completely innocent is not even an option for me. She either was part of the planning, or she was like, they would call her and be like, when's Dan going away? And she would tell them and be like, okay, I don't want to know anything.
Well, he posted all his events on his social media, for lawyers, whatever platform he created.
You don't know.
So anybody could access. Anybody could access. Yeah, that was in a testimony. She's testified that, and obviously, if that was untrue, the prosecutor would have been like irrelevant information or whatever. But yeah, that is true.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Again, nuggets. When you add them all together, doesn't make sense. Okay, so this is interesting. That was the 13th. On the 14th, he thinks that things are really like going downhill still. But then she calls him and asks him to go with her to yoga on a date on the 14th. Okay? Here he is talking about that right now.
Well, actually,
yes.
All right, go ahead, run it. And I'll say
No, play it. Let it speak for itself. You know what I'm saying? Listen.
All right, I want to talk about the next day, which is going to be July 14th, 2014, the Monday before the murder. Did you see Wendi Adelson that day?
I did. I had left the previous night by saying I had some hope for the relationship. I said, if this won't work out, just send me a text, and I won't be offended by that, and we'll just move on. But she contacted me the next day and said, I really want to spend time with you. So then she canceled plans.
Sorry about that.
In the middle of the day, and then we went to yoga.
Went to a yoga class together?
We attended a yoga class together, the most awkward yoga session in history.
Okay. What happens after the awkward yoga session?
Well, during the yoga session, just as a 43-year-old man that's been in a few relationships, I'm thinking, okay, this looks like this is over. I just the vibe I was getting. We walked to the car and exchanged words, and she didn't want to spend time with me Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and she had the whole week off without the kids. And then there was a couple other words exchanged, but it was clear to me it was, I thought it was over at that point, so I turned and started walking away.
Okay, and did she call you back?
Yeah, she called after me. I turned around, and she asked me, are you still going to Tennessee on Friday? Because she had previously known that I was leaving for a trip to Tennessee at 11 a.m. on Friday, July 18th. And she had a series of questions.
I'm pausing it right there just to remind everybody that he's murdered at 11 a.m. on the 18th. Okay? And she was checking to see if he was still leaving on Friday at 11 a.m. to go on a trip to Tennessee.
About whether I was going, if I didn't go, why wouldn't I go? She, despite seemingly just breaking up with me and not wanting to see me for the next 3 days, had a deep interest in what I was going to be doing on Friday.
All right, and your plan at that time was to leave Tallahassee by plane or car?
By car at approximately 11 a.m., and Wendi Adelson and I had discussed that in some detail previously because of other plans that eventually got canceled, but she was the only person aware, other than the people in Tennessee, that that's when I was leaving.
And had you followed that plan, is it correct that you would have been departing Tallahassee and getting on I-10 at approximately the same time that the killers were?
Yes, not only that, but I would have driven within probably a couple miles of Dan Markel's house.
All right, and what type of vehicle would you have been in had you gone with that plan?
At that time, I was driving a 2004 four-door metallic gray Nissan Sentra.
All right, and are you familiar with the suspect vehicle in this case?
I am.
And would you characterize your vehicle as similar in appearance to that vehicle?
Yes, especially in profile, yes.
And are you aware that in her law enforcement interview, Wendi Adelson suggested you as a potential suspect?
I am,
aware
Misha.
of that.
I'm seeing your comments.
And did you cooperate with the police in this case?
Yes. When I came back from Tennessee, they called me. I came in immediately and cooperated with them from the very beginning.
And were you able to provide an alibi that eliminated you as a suspect?
Yes,
from
Tony,
committing
that's
this
wrong.
murder?
Yeah, pretty solid one. They had me on videotape at a Kmart in Tennessee a couple hours after the murder, using my credit card with my cell phone showing me there. So it was
Okay, answer a couple questions that I'm getting here. First of all, Misha, yeah, I'm seeing your comments, and he's not involved. He's already been cleared, Jeffrey Lacasse. He's the boyfriend, and they have already got receipts proving that he was in Tennessee at the time of the murder. The whole point of Jeffrey Lacasse's testimony is to prove that Wendi was trying to arrange for him, or my theory is that she made sure that the murder happened on a day that Jeffrey Lacasse, the boyfriend, was leaving to go somewhere so that she could pin the blame on him. Okay? Tony, you right. If you look him up, it says he's assassinated on the 19th. Is that wrong? He died on the 19th, but he was murdered on the morning of the 18th, just so you know.
Just to go back to the video real quick. He testifies and says that when the prosecutor said Wendi suggested your name to and actually she doesn't give Jeff as an option. Her friend Jane, who showed up for her, as a support for her, is the one who brought up his name.
Yeah.
So she did not suggest it. It was suggested during her testimony, but at the police precinct, but it really came from Jane, not her.
She does bring him up, but there's a separate time Jane's not in the room anymore during the interrogation where she talks at length about trying to insinuate that it's Jeff. Maybe she got the idea from Jane, but
right. But she never. But he the detective asked her in the beginning, like 25 minutes into the interview, who do you think it could be? And she rattles off not only does her family, she rattles off other people, other suggestions, and she never brings up Jeff's name. It wasn't until Jane came in, her friend, who actually suggests Jeff, and that's when they asked her about, well, what do you think about Jeff? And that's when she said all that stuff. But it wasn't her that said it. Anyway, wait, there was something on that, something else in that testimony. I can't think. All right, go ahead. Did you want to show more?
So on the 15th, the hitman ran a car again. On the 18th, he was just explaining some of it, but on the 18th, the TV gets repaired. Dan is shot just after the TV's getting repaired. Wendi has finishes the repair and then goes to run errands to go get whiskey and go to a luncheon. Despite a shorter route that was available to her, she did not take that route. Instead, she chose to drive by the crime scene. She pulled up the street, turned around and drove away. The police testified they saw her van. Why would she go to the crime scene? Me and Jocelyn have already had a huge argument over this.
Well, play my video I sent you.
I will. Is it? Well, should I? Well, you want me to finish this and then I'll play it?
It's regarding. So it's a half-ass video, people. Okay, I had a screen video, so it's not great. It's not great.
Oh
but,
no, you went all ghetto on me.
Well, sorry,
ghetto
I don't have
videos.
all the equipment you do.
Right.
But I have to say, this reporting was from Court TV, so and explained the viewpoint that she had from the road.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you send it to me? Because I don't see it here.
I sent an email. Cara girl, right?
Yeah. I'm not seeing
And
it.
by the way, I love what Misha writes. She says, he seems a little happy up there, LOL. I think he's glad to testify against her because he knows she used him and she's toast.
Well, I honestly, if I was like, if I had a girl, if I was a guy and I had a girlfriend that her ex-husband was murdered and she made sure, are you leaving on this day at 11 o'clock? And also the rental car of the hitman matches very similar to what his car that he drives. Personally, I'd be pretty pissed myself.
Well, during the first murders, though, she made sure that he was with her. So I don't really think that flies.
Jocelyn, I don't have that video here. I'm looking and I don't see it.
I emailed it to you.
Yeah, it's not here. Could it be in my... It's probably such crap quality it went to spam.
Oh, well, check. It's possible.
Well, maybe it's in my spam folder. I don't know. Now you've thrown me all off. No, it's not in my spam folder either. I did not get it.
I'll send
Gmail.
it again. I did
went all
Cara
ghetto
girl.
on me.
Cara.
All right.
Cara girl, right?
Yeah. So are they not seeing our messages? No, we can see your messages. Here's the problem. Sometimes they're nice and big, like you see right now. Do you see your message now, Misha? It says, oh, cool. Okay, cool. But then sometimes they get real small in the bottom left corner, like super tiny. So look there. But I am getting your messages.
I just sent it again. Look.
I'm looking.
Do a search.
You're probably not spelling it right. K-A?
Wait, let me look.
Are you using a K?
Yeah.
Yeah? 10 days after the murder, he spoke to Wendi about the celebration dinner, too. That's another thing I have on. After he was murdered, 10 days later, Wendi did speak to Jeff on the phone, finally, because he couldn't get her on the phone for 10 days. He finally gets on the phone with her, and she says, my brother just took me out for a celebration dinner. Celebration of what? The fact that your ex-husband...
For her going out. For her finally leaving the house. Yeah, and
then she's vomiting all over the table. She's a nervous wreck. Her stomach's in knots because she knows her family just murdered her ex-husband. What is it? What on earth is going on with you? Jocelyn, I don't understand how you don't see it. And you threw me off. Let me get out of this. I will put it back on right here. 2348. Listen to this, guys, okay? He talks about the celebration dinner right here. 23. Whoop,
he
that's
wasn't
not it.
an absent. And
hold on, 2348. As you can see,
out of the state by the time of the murder.
All right. Listen.
Do you have any knowledge about a celebration dinner that was had after the murder of Dan Markel?
I do. I eventually spoke to Wendi Adelson on the phone about 10 days after the murder. I had a couple of phone conversations with her. And in one of them, she described attending what Charlie Adelson described as a celebration dinner.
And was that the dinner where she vomited at the table?
Yeah, she said she hadn't eaten food in so long that as soon as the food hit her stomach, she started vomiting.
All right. And were these couple phone calls after the homicide the last contact that you had with Wendi Adelson?
Yes.
No further questions.
Cross-examination. Thank you.
So, yeah. So, I don't know. Put all these little things together and it sure screams guilty about Wendi. She's a total murderer. Oh, thank you, Misha. Oh my God, she's the murderer. Motive, so who else? She's not the actual murderer. The hitmen are. But I think she arranged it. And here's the big hitter that I've not said in this whole video. I've said it in previous videos. But another thing that a lot of people don't know, and you're new here, is that her mother is really the mastermind behind the whole thing. She wrote checks out to one of the people that have been convicted of the murder to pay them off. There's wiretaps of Wendy's mother talking about this. Charlie, her brother, is in jail right now. He's been already found guilty. And Donna is now, the mother is now in jail waiting for her trial in September. And we're going to cover it like literally gavel to gavel. I'm going to like be on here during the day when that trial is going. Go ahead.
By the way, when they talk about how did she, there's a shorter route for her to do her errands, right? And anyway, and she just goes the route that she always goes, right? Because she's a creature of habit, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, the Court TV did an episode where, and this is the email I'm trying to send you, but I guess it's saying the file is too big, so I that's probably why I'm not getting it.
That must be why.
Yeah. So anyway, basically the show shows you like their street. It shows where it would have been marked off, and it goes back to the testimony of the cops where they said so one cop said they were stationed 3 or 4 houses on each side of 3 to 4 houses south of it and 3 to 4 houses north of it, right? Mm-hmm. So the house, Adelson, so whatever. And another cop said 5 to 6 houses. So anyway, Court TV did it where I guess they picked the middle. They did 5. Mm-hmm. And it shows the image of what 5 houses away on both sides look like. And you cannot see a cop in their driveway.
Well, maybe not at that exact moment, but at the time, as soon as
well, they're implying that she saw. Like, how could you not be worried? There, this street is cut off, but she's saying that she just thought it was a tree down, or that apparently she was saying
she
that
drove
happens.
by within an hour after his murder.
Right, but you can't tell.
There at that time.
But what I'm saying is, what Court TV showed was that you could not see any commotion around their house. It was just literally tape across the street, across this, or the cop standing there with the tape. Okay. But you would never know it had anything to do with her house. It was just down the street somewhere.
Gotcha. And then I just have like just a few minutes of his interrogation, and then that should wrap it up about Jeff. What? Yeah. What do you want to say?
Well, I'm just saying that I don't think she was part of it. I think after the murder and after a couple of years, I think she found out about it. Mm-hmm. But until they can come up with more evidence, I wouldn't say she's guilty yet.
Well, I think they're holding on to some stuff that we don't know about because they're not going to give away everything they have. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is courtesy of Mentor Lawyer, Deep Dive True Crime channel. I watch them a lot, but they've got this interrogation on here. And by the way, the picture on here, it's weird at first. I don't know why they're doing this.
What is it that you're going to show us?
It's just a few minutes of his interrogation. You can see the bottom right is Jeff Lacasse in his interrogation room, and that guy in the middle is Harvey Adelson, the dad. But he'll go away in a second. Yeah, I don't know why that was there, but anyway, here.
Guys down in the Cuban neighborhood or something like that. That's what he would do. Something like that.
Oh, wait, let me go back. Hold on, just a few minutes.
Ultimately, it depends on what it is you're going to say. Because if it's something that's instrumental to the investigation, it can't really be off the record because I mean, we're trying to solve a guy's homicide here.
I know. It's hearsay. It's tertiary hearsay. I don't know if that's useful to you. I tell you something? Somebody told me, somebody else told me.
Yeah, I mean, and you'd have to tell me what it was, and I would have to say, okay, is this something that can be excluded from the report, or is it something that's inculpatory? Is it something that...
Maybe I can just make it simpler than that. Maybe I can just say, I would be investigating Charlie Adelson.
Okay.
Maybe it's that simple.
What makes you say that? And again, and here's another thing. We're talking to a lot of people here.
Sure you are.
And you're just telling us what you think.
Sure.
And everybody else is doing the same thing. And that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. What we're trying to do is just get all the puzzle pieces before we start trying to put the puzzle together.
Yeah.
We're still in the stages of getting all the pieces.
I got you.
So why do you think it would be pertinent for us to investigate Charlie?
He's very angry about Danny. And if you met, I know he's down there, you can't get him in front of you, but you're, experienced investigator. If you got in front of this guy, he'd set off your radar, set off mine. I used to do juvenile justice, I used to do forensic psychiatry. He set off my radar a little bit. He's a weird guy, strange guy. He's a conduct disorder kid, and he hates Danny. And see if I can put it a little vaguely, or not, but just enough to be useful here.
Let's not put it vague. Let's go with what you know specifically.
Wendi had reported to me that Charlie had considered all the options possible to take care of this problem. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And when she said it...
When did she disclose this to you?
I don't remember when. But she said this is...
Oh, all of a sudden now he doesn't remember.
Because she said...
now of a sudden he does remember.
And I said, sure. She said...
Oh, yeah, so he testifies he hears it 5 days before the murder, but when he's being interrogated on the 21st, a couple days after, he can't remember.
That family wants her back there.
Well, maybe he had to go home and rack his brain and get. Sometimes people need to do that. They need to sit down and journal everything and figure out what the heck happened. Do you think he actually thought somebody was going to get killed? No.
Charlie had been examining all the options.
Okay.
Well, he said, he also testified in another trial that he actually called one of his friends and asked her opinion if he should do something about it.
Now, I could be 100% wrong, but I wouldn't want to miss that if I was investigating it. He's got a close friend who's a ex-special forces guy, like a Navy SEAL or something he hangs out with all the time.
Okay.
What did she say to you?
That is Jeffrey Lacasse. So, I like the guy a lot. I think he's an amazing witness for the prosecution. I think that if it wasn't for him, Charlie, Katie, and the hitmen, Sigfredo and Luis, would not be in jail. He was a huge part of why they were put away. And he's going to be another huge part. And by the way, the latest news is that Donna Adelson's trial will have Wendi again testifying. Jeffrey Lacasse again will be testifying. And now Charlie is set to testify against his mother. I don't think it's something that he is happy about. I think the prosecution is calling him. Maybe he's going to plead the fifth. I don't know.
Yeah, but, that's interesting what he's going to say.
Yeah, and guess who else is going to be testifying for the first time ever in any of these trials? Robert Adelson. Adelson's
brother.
oldest son, who's estranged from everybody because he thinks the whole family is a bunch of whack jobs. The prosecution is bringing him in to testify against his mother, and I am so excited for that one. Yeah, we'll see what happens. What do you guys think?
By the way, I just want to say,
go ahead.
Another thing. I mean, I know you really like Jeff. I don't really care for him.
Yeah,
I don't think it's.
You think he's a wuss, right? Like some
wimpy
guy.
One, I think not that he's maybe I don't know, but I think that when he realized, like, him saying, "Oh, I got played around," and I just think he's trying to get back at her.
No,
that's why
he was strung along. He was strung along, and she was like, "I don't want to go out with you. I do want to go out with you. I don't want to go out with you. I do want to go out with you."
That was, first of all, when it was wishy-washy that way. That was the whole month of June and July, and he accused her. Because I would have to go back, but remember that time where she said that one of her friends, a guy that she used to date, was leaving the state. He was moving somewhere, and she wanted to go meet up with him for coffee.
Okay.
And she told Jeff that, and Jeff's like, "I don't want you going. I don't want you meeting up with him." And she's like, "Well, I'm gonna go meet up with him because he's still a friend of mine."
Did she used to sleep with him?
They were going out.
Yeah, they were in a relationship, right?
Yeah, but they're friends afterwards.
Nope. There's no such thing.
Oh,
there's no such thing. That is disrespectful.
She's going to meet him. She's going to meet him for coffee. Because he's leaving the state.
Okay, I could see why a guy would feel threatened by that. She used to sleep with him, be with him, relationship with him, and she's going out with him. And he caught her secretly doing it too. He was coming down the street and he happened to see her.
No, because according to her when she testifies, she said that she told him, "I'm going to meet him at this coffee shop."
Who's the proven liar here, Wendi or Jeff? Jeff has been nothing but credible. Where is his lies?
First of all, it's nothing but lies. But he makes a lot of references and inferences. Like even the fact, like, I don't like his attitude on testifying. First of all, I think he's exactly what Misha says. Exactly what she gets. That he's like happy to be up there and to rat on her because he feels like it's his way of getting back at her. And
I think there's a little of that. Yeah, there's a little of that.
He sent Charlie a text message saying, "Hey man, thanks for letting us, stay over, and I had a really good time, and I hope to hang out with you even more. I hope to hang out with you sometime soon. Whatever, let's get together." Like, and the fact that, like, but meanwhile that night before, he says how he Charlie hangs out with, what do you call those people, like on the other side of the tracks, whatever.
Yeah,
but yet then he's like, yeah, but. And he thought it was a little weird, and it was, and that's what he testifies. But then he wants to hang out with them afterwards. Like, you could have just say, "Thank you for letting us stay at your house. I had a really good time." Done. But he's like, "Yeah, but let's hang out." So he's just one of those guys that seem like a pleaser. He just wants to be a pleaser kind of guy.
Yeah, gotcha.
So,
well, I see a little of that, but not to the extreme you're saying. I think he's been totally like scorned. He's a scorned man.
So hence he wants to throw her to the curb.
Misha says, "I think," and let me put it up and see if it's tiny. No, it's not tiny now. Sometimes it's tiny and sometimes it's big. I think Charlie is loving playing the victim. Well, that's Jeff that you're talking about, I think. But he was at his own codependency, but I think he also knows she has a huge reason for killing him and playing a role in what? Misha, I didn't get it all, honey. What the heck are you talking about, Misha? What? Wait.
Explain that to me.
I mean, I do think it's one thing I think is weird is the whole car, the similar cars. I think that's
that
weird.
Is the one thing. Oh my goodness, so many other bigger things than just the car.
I don't think it's big.
The car is the icing on the cake for me, but.
No, I think that's a real nugget. But she made sure that he was around her during the first time that they attempted the murder. So, I don't know.
Nope. Sorry. Don't agree. And by the way,
What do you mean?
I said it to you once recently that, and I'll say it again. Remember, I told you there were 2 hitmen.
Right, and
attempts.
she was right. She was with him.
He was scheduled to go away for that. He was right. He was scheduled
No,
to go away.
The first attempt, they were together. They were together. The first attempt. Yes.
Let me see.
June 4th was the first attempt. They went out for coffee and then hung out later that night.
No, but he was also scheduled to go away at that time as well. He was supposed to go somewhere else on a trip. And then she goes down to Miami on June 15th. Just before that, he's scheduled to go on a trip.
No, the first murder was between June 4th and June 6th. She hangs out with Jeffrey on June.
You mean the first murder attempt?
The first murder attempt, right. Mm-hmm. So she hangs out with him on the 4th.
No, too many things don't line up. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
I think you want it to be a duck. You're not seeing the possibilities. It could be a goose.
That's baloney.
All right. Anyway, it was so fun.
I know.
I love talking about this. I want to switch gears though. Guys, I really want to go back to the Scott Peterson, Laci Peterson case. We're going to do that. We're going to do that on, today's Thursday. We're going to do it on Monday night. I know there's a lot of people that know that case. There's a lot of feelings people have about that case. You know, he was a big fat cheater. Fat cheater. I'm totally the betrayal that he did to that
Can you
woman.
imagine if he's found not guilty for new? Because something like there's new DNA. No, there's always been DNA evidence, but now with new technology, they're able to. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, but there's also stuff with the boat. They had they wouldn't let this. The defense came in with an expert that could prove that there was no way that he could have thrown the body off of the boat. And they would not let that testimony in. And then there was a girl on the jury that had bright pink hair, and they dubbed her Strawberry Shortcake. And she, when you go on a jury, you have to ask a bunch of questions before you get picked for a jury. And they asked her if she had any history of domestic violence in her life, because if you did, you shouldn't be on this jury, right? Obviously, you'd be and she lied. And said, no, she didn't. And then after he was found guilty, they also found her, recordings of her on tape saying, I'm going to get him. I'm going to make sure he, fries and all this stuff. And so she had, a motive to put him away before the trial. She could even hear the evidence. And this is from, the beginning. So, yeah. Misha goes, oh, Lord, Peterson. Yeah. Do you remember that case, Misha? Oh, I was engrossed in that one. Now, that one was not broadcasted. So we don't have any trial footage of that. So, but there's so many shows on it. I would recommend everybody go watch a 2020 or a 48 hours on that and just catch yourself up to date on it so we could talk about it on Monday, because it's going to be a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about with the Wendi Adelson case?
So with Wendi, we talked about Jeff. I still want to do Charlie. So maybe we'll do Charlie and Donna together next Thursday. And then we're just going to, do updates, news. And I'm loving the news thing. I want to, keep up with the news. So we'll, go through it every time, what the latest is. I'm going to follow that Black Swan case.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, opening statements were yesterday on that. Ashley Benefield. It's the trial just started 2 days ago, and I have to catch up on it, but it's been crazy because my daughter's birthday and my mother-in-law was here, and my girls are in a show right now, so I have not been able to be on top of things as I normally am. So yes, all right, yes, I love you, and it's so good to see your beautiful face.
Oh, you too. I like your little headband. You're so cute.
Thank you. I think it's Ava's. I don't even know whose it is. I don't know. They just leave their crap in my room.
Oh, well, that's okay.
There's just crap everywhere. And by the way, does Olivia just go into your room and use your mirror and your makeup? Because no matter...
she has her own makeup. You cannot use my makeup. They have their own. She has her own.
Girl, I tell them all the time, tell me what you want. Make a list. I'll get it for you. But no matter what I buy them, They come in. If I have a mascara, they've got to use it. If new lip color, I got to use it. And then they're in my room, in front of the mirror and everything, and I can't even get in there to like,
get ready.
Yeah.
No, you cannot borrow my mascara. That would skeeve me out.
No. Misha, Jocelyn won't let anybody, and even herself, in bed with any kind of food, and you have to change your clothes before you get into her bed. And I told Johnny the other day, I reminded him that back in the day when Tony would come home from work, after a hard day work, all day long, he'd come to the door, and you wouldn't let him come through the door sometimes unless he got out the vacuum and vacuumed. I remember you telling me that.
Vacuum what?
You would make him vacuum the carpet.
The whole entire carpet?
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Yeah, you used to be like, you need to train him right. You need to train him early. You used to say that to me.
Well, I mean, I believe in that scenario, but I mean, I don't remember telling him to vacuum before he comes in the door.
Yeah. Like he'd come to the door and you'd be like, you got to vacuum first.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I always thought it was his lover. Oh, what? Misha, you think that Amber Fry had Lacey Peterson killed? Yeah.
That's interesting.
Tony goes, I'm a slave.
Hey, actually, Tony, do you remember that? Did I make you?
Tony, what did she made you do? Did I actually
tell you to, like, when you walk in the door that you actually had to vacuum? Do you ever remember me doing that?
Yeah, if it's not vacuuming and then it's something else. I mean, I used to be like, why are you making
now
me do
it's
that?
something else? I mean,
well, it can't.
On.
Well, I
it's
remember
either vacuum
No, I
or
remember it as vacuuming. But what I'm saying is, and I remember saying to you back, like, he worked all day. Why are you making him do stuff? And you're like, because he has to do his part, and you got to train that early and all that stuff.
I mean, do his part, yeah. But the first thing he did when we walked in the door was how to vacuum, not eat. That doesn't make any sense.
I remember this from at your old house, where you grew up, when you guys lived in that little apartment.
Right.
That's what I remember it from.
I know, but like that's what I'm saying. Was it like I just said to him, like, well, when he walked through the door, don't forget you have to vacuum tonight? Or was it like you have to vacuum before you can do anything else? Like, because that's what you're making it sound like.
I remember it as he couldn't do anything else until he vacuumed. Are we right? Who's right, Tony?
So, yeah, Tony, is that true? I'm waiting for him to reply. Alexa, stop.
You got your Alexa talking? That's funny.
Oh, now he's not answering.
Yeah. I mean, I only asked Johnny to do some things now, but forever I just pretty much did it all. But then when you have kids and things pile up, you need the help.
That's exactly what I told you.
Actually, I only ask for everybody to just clean up after themselves. I don't ask them to do chores ever. Actually.
LOL, not vacuum, but I've been asked to do something as soon as I walked in. Oh.
So what? What did she?
No, he was just saying it could be anything. Like, oh, babe, when you come in, you can just take the trash out. Whatever.
Oh.
That's not a big deal.
Okay. Are you eating popcorn?
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
y'all. So, don't forget to subscribe and like and share our page. As of right now, we're on every Monday and Thursday nights for sure.
No, Monday.
What?
Monday.
No, I said Monday and Thursdays.
No, Mondays. I can't do 2 nights.
Girl, that's going to be a problem. Yeah, it's every Monday and Thursday. We'll talk.
You said 1 time a week. All right, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that later because that's not good. All right, so but yeah, make sure you subscribe, like, and share our page, and that's it, really. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.